Hello guys, so in today's video I'm going to be converting a 10-gallon fish tank into a 10-gallon vertical terrarium, and I'm also going to be making 3 containers for some new scorpions. First off, we're going to do the scorpions. All they really need is some sand and some places to hide because these are just simple, small desert scorpions. I put enough sand to cover the bottom of the containers, and I'll probably end up putting some more in here later, as they do need a little bit so that way they can dig and burrow. I just used some random lava rocks out of one of my fish tanks, and I could have used some fresh ones, but I want particularly these big ones, so I picked them out of my 20-gallon lung, and some oak leaves that I got from walking a trail. Some other small random leaves for the scorpions to hide under. Ooh. I did not mean to drop that rock. I was walking and it slipped out of my hands. But I gave every single scorpion one large stone to just kind of hide under. All setups are very simple, and I mean, it's just a scorpion setup. There's not much to it. And of course, the leaves, so that way they have the little overhangs to hide under. They all look fairly similar for the time being, but I'll probably end up changing them around as time goes on. I sprayed all the containers down a little bit, so that way they would have a little bit of humidity, and then I just closed them up and put them away, as the scorpions have not arrived yet. And I also got these plastic soap holders for the new frogs, which I'm getting for the 10-gallon vertical setup, and also for my white tree frogs. Lots of people use soap holders as ledges for their tree frogs, and I am too. You might remember this tank from the Christmas special. It was the top right aquarium on my tank rack. I've completely cleaned it out, gutted it, and moved the one fish that was in here along with all the shrimp, and now I'm going to seal it up with this silicone. And so now I sealed up the bottom of the terrarium, so that way no water would leak. Now it's time to cut the panels of plexiglass. And this is probably one of the simplest parts, as all you have to do is just use some kind of knife or glass cutting tool, run it up and down until eventually it's got a nice crack in it, and then just snap it in half. If you do it right, you should have a nice, clean, straight cut. Of course, ours is straight. Now imagine that noise 50 more times, because I'm going to spare you having to listen to it and remove all of the audio from these coming up clips. The first drill bit was just a tad bit too small, so we ended up going a little bit bigger, and we got the perfect sized hole for all of our screws. This is just our test sheet of plexiglass, so it doesn't really matter if we screw up literally and figuratively. As you can see, perfect fit. Now it's time to install the joint between the door and the bottom panel. We had to cut it to size first, and sadly my dad was just not able to cut it as it was just a little bit too tough. Yeah, it wasn't going nowhere. So of course I used my muscles and I pulled it apart because I'm so strong. Now it's time to drill a lot of holes. Now it's time to put all of the nuts on all of the screws. And here it is. It's almost done. The only thing that's left to do is the top panel, which is basically just adding the lock and putting a bunch of air holes in it. And also the handle, which I forgot to mention. I just got one of those basic locks where you move it left from right and latch it down, so that way gravity can do all of the work, and then of course when I want to open it, I can just pull it up and latch it to the side, and then pull it down and let it fall down, and gravity will do the work and hold it in place. And I won't have to worry about a bunch of frogs getting out of my room. This is the handle I was talking about almost forgetting. I think it looks really nice. I mean, it's just a simple, cheap, I think it was $5 handle for a kitchen drawer, but it looks really neat on this, and it matches it really well. And here is the almost finished product. You can see the lock on the top, the handle, and of course the bracket and all kinds of other fun stuff. I think it looks really slick and really nice, and the only thing left is adding these air holes and then siliconing the top and bottom piece on. Took quite a while to make all of those holes, but now there's nice aeration on the top of the tank. Last but not least is for me to silicone on the bottom and top piece. Lucky me, I don't really care about things being pretty because my silicone is extremely hideous. Do not copy my silicone work as it sucks. Now it's time to just let everything dry out. I have the front opening piece, which has not been siliconed down, lifted up by a bunch of cans, so that way A, it doesn't touch the silicone, and B, it doesn't put pressure on anything. And it was specifically supported by a can of beans, which is pretty funny to me. But anyways, now all I gotta do is leave this overnight and then come back to it. Here it is the next day, and I think it turned out really nice. As you can see, the silicone job is not the best. I actually had to repair this particular section because there's just a little bit too little silicone. But besides that, I think everything turned out really well. I ended up adding these two little things to the door to make sure it wouldn't fall over. I'm not getting any more tanks, but if I was, I would build more terrariums to stick next to this one because they would fit so nicely. The next video that will come out on this channel will probably be about my new scorpions and new frogs, so don't forget to like and subscribe. Also, go check out my TikTok and Instagram for high quality footage and photos. See ya!
3, 2, 1.